Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for Season 5, Round 7 of the Championship, as we take in the Australian Grand Prix from the Albert Park Street Circuit here in Melbourne. My name is James Head, going to be taking you through the stream as always, and joining me alongside me in the commentary box this evening, it is Mr. Daniel Field. Dan, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Excited for the Australian Grand Prix. Of course, I raced here last night and on the PC tier. The less said about it, the better. But yeah, interesting circuit, this one.
Very interesting circuit, this one, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty, we'll get into the championship standings in just a second. But we unfortunately have to start off tonight's stream with some very, very sad news that has just broken in the last 15 minutes or so. Murray Walker, a legend of the commentary booth in Formula 1, has sadly passed away at the age of 97. Murray was idolised by many of us as Formula 1 fans, but importantly for me as a commentator. He started his career in 1949 at Silverstone for the BBC and then officially joined F1 full-time at the BBC in 1978. Although he retired in 2001 officially from the commentary booth, he made his comeback at the Nürburgring in 2007 for BBC Radio 5 Live for one final race. He was adored by many, and our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends at what I'm sure is a very sad time for everyone. Murray Walker, arguably the greatest commentator to ever step foot into the commentary box. Anyways, we'll move on and we will focus on what we are all here for tonight, and that is of course the action here in League of Europe. And League of Europe, of course, rolls on here tonight in Australia, probably normally the season opener. It's round 7 of the championship here tonight. Coming into tonight, M Short leading the way on 98 points with Montana in second on 68, the Daniel in third on 67. I can't believe, Dan, M Short is 30 points clear still of Montana. He only dropped 1 point to his nearest championship rival, yet he hasn't been that consistent the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's not been on the podium since Russia, of course, was the end of his 3-win streak, and he's not had the best of times in these last couple of races. He got 8 points in Monaco, which is decent enough, but he dropped quite a big chunk of it to Montana, who ended up winning the Grand Prix, taking his first win of the season, and only 3 points last time out in China. So he's really got to put the pedal down and kind of try and extend that gap, or at least maintain it a bit better, because he is beginning to slip up just a little bit. The cracks are beginning to form, and well, Montana's close enough. He's 30 points back, of course, so that's not enough to take it this race, but he is definitely within striking distance of starting to challenge M Short for a good championship fight.
He definitely is, and looking down the rest of the field as well, Verstappen in 4th on 51 points, Lando 5th, took the win last time out in China in 5th on 43, Campbell and Zhao tied for 6th on 37, Jose Sass in 8th on 35, Alpha Trix in 9th on 33, he picked up his best result of the season last week in China, and Connor in 10th on 26 points, Neo in 11th on 22, Hardy and Rocco tied for 12th on 19, Name Changer in 14th on 18 along with Vaporizer, Kazizel in 16th on 15, Ewan in 17th on 10, Kumblai in 18th on 6, Kuka Games and Shaplelli in 19th was tied for 2 points, and Toxic in finally scoring a point last time out in China, which I'm glad to report. He's got 1 more point onto his tally, and he's in 21st, just on that 1 single point in the Haas. Looking at constructors as well, Racing Point, although they only scored 4 points last time out in China, they lead the way on 135 points. McLaren in second on 120, Renault third on 88, Alfa Romeo fourth on 65, with Mercedes in fifth on 62, Red Bull sixth on 59, Williams seventh on 57, Ferrari 8th on 24, Haas in 9th on 20, and AlphaTauri in 10th on 17 points. And Racing Point, another team that hasn't been as consistent in the last couple of weeks. They picked up 37 points the week before, and then only picked up 4 because of Montana last time out. What went wrong for both Racing Point and McLaren last week?
Well, it seemed like Montana started on the medium compound of tyres, and that gave him a big advantage in the beginning of the race. But of course, with the wet qualifying, everyone was given the choice of free tyres, whatever they wanted, and he ended up picking the mediums at the start, but he could have gone on the hards, but he was a lot slower towards the end of the race. And if you remember, D. Daniel, he had his incident where he went into the back of another, I don't remember who it is, but he definitely did lose a whole chunk of points. And I'd just like to mention, I believe that we've actually lost a driver in Bolin. He's not classified in the championship anymore. Of course, he had 28 points to his name, but Vaporizer appears to have taken his seat full-time in Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, Bullet Boy has also jumped up from Division 2 into the reserve role. Not sure if he's here tonight. We'll get confirmation of that as we see, as we go into qualifying here in Australia. Normally, this is the season opener, but it's round 7 in the championship here in League of Europe, and appropriately, this is where Murray Walker set foot in 1996. Remember, back in Adelaide, when this track was not even existed, where he commentated David Coulthard crashing into the pit lane. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, of course, it is a sad day for us all. I believe he is the voice of Formula One. That will never change. So we just got to think about him in today's race, and I believe we'll do a little bit of a tribute at the beginning of the Grand Prix.
We will indeed, and let's hope I actually pull that off. And don't be forgetting, I know Mark was saying something about old age. I've got to get that into my brain, that we've got to do something different for the introduction here tonight. But Melbourne, Australia, 5.3 kilometres in length, 3.295 mile to you and me. There are 29 laps awaiting these guys out on track, 16 corners, taking them around corners like Waite, Hill, Ascari, Senna and Prost. That's just in the final sector. Very glad to report it is bone dry out on track, which is really good to see, and all 20 drivers are here tonight to do battle around the streets of Melbourne, Australia here, as we are getting the first couple of cars rolling out on track. And it's both the Red Bulls appropriately leaving the pit lane first, and it looks to me as if Connor might be ahead of Alphatrix coming out the pit lane. In fact, it's not. It's Alphatrix ahead of Connor, so Alphatrix first out.
Yeah, Alphatrix, he really does need to have a good result here. Of course, he did manage to pull off a pretty decent race last time out, and he managed to take second position. He's not managed to take that win. 33 points to his name at the moment. He's in ninth in the standings. It's not been a good season by his standards. He's either been on the podium or out of the points entirely, so he's really going to want to try and take full advantage of that, I suppose. Have a better race.
I was having a right mess up there with the cameras. It was just fixed on Alphatrix. I thought my cameras were broke for a second there, but luckily not. Alphatrix in 13th position, currently out on track. He's the first man out on track. He'll be hoping to give a little bit of a slipstream to Connor. And Alphatrix, of course, picking second to finished second last time out in China. Lando the only man to defeat him in this season so far, in China certainly. But Alphatrix, he's been really poor from his standard, I think, this season. Can he try and improve here in Australia?
I certainly think Australia is a circuit where you really can find some improvements, especially since guys, they tend to do this circuit first when they load up a game, so I think a lot of people know this track very, very well. Of course, it is the first option that comes available to you, but only time will tell. Of course, he's going to be off on his lap very, very shortly, just coming through the final corner now.
He is coming through the final corner now at Prost, named after, of course, Alain Prost, the Frenchman, the three-time Formula 1 champion. Well, yeah, whatever. Down in towards turn 1. Alphatrix going through turn 1. Same in 2002. Oh, and he's already invalidated. That's typical. As Connor now comes through turn 1, and he's sliding his way out of turn 1 and 2. And now we go on board with Connor. Run the run down in towards turn 3, out on track. Let's see how he copes with the undulations of this first sector. It is quite a flat track as opposed, but there are a few undulations here. So now comes through turn 4, and then through turn 5. 2010 Vettel, I remember, having lost his front wing. 26.1 from Connor in the first sector. I think Alphatrix is backing off enough to give Connor a bit of a run down in towards the chicane at turn 11. In fact, he dukes out the way. What does the commentator know? Running down now in towards turns 9 and 10, and Connor will be hoping to really put in a good lap here. He has been quite consistent so far this season. He's been quite unlucky within the races, though, I would say, so far this season. 3 minutes into quarter-final, if you're just tuning in. We are through the middle sector on board with Connor as he now opens up that DRS, coming out through in towards turn 13. This next right-hander coming up for him. There's a car just ahead of him out on track. It's a McLaren, and I'm assuming that's Neil on an out lap who's just ahead, as now Connor flies through 14, now through 15. Neil gets out of the way to the left-hand side, now into 15, and then in towards 16 at Prost. Nearly loses the back end again through there, but around the final corner, this is a really competitive lap from Connor early on. This could break into the 118s, maybe into the 119s. It's a 118.8 to start off the night. That's not bad lap at all, but it's bettered by Montana, a 118.6 from the defending champion.
Zhao Zhao splitting the pair of them. Alphatrix, it looks like he might be going again on this run. He indeed is. But the other Alfa Romeo of Vaporizer just about to cross the lane now, and he goes unfortunately into 4 out of 4 at the moment. And Toxic put it right in the middle of all of them in third position as Verstappen, or not that time from him, Campbell. He's been really impressive in recent weeks, and well, it's a pretty decent time, only a 10th of Montana.
Yeah, good lap from Campbell. Was on board with him in the final sector of that lap. So really good lap there by the Scotsman. He's only a 10.5 off on Montana currently. Kumbly, though, coming out the final corner. The other QVR man out on track, of course. As he now runs the line. I think he's going to go slowest out of everyone. He's not. He's 9th. The 119.2. Slowest out of everyone is our race winner. Last time out, Lando, 119.4 in the Mercedes. But that's pretty much the first round of laps in. Neil's coming through turn 13 out on track. We've got a couple of cars just ahead of him. I think Name Changer is coming out the final couple of corners as well. So let's see what the Finn can do. As he flies out the final corner now, runs down the straight, sun glinting into the driver's eye. So now comes across the line at 19.2 there. Neo just about to come across the line as well. Could go quicker. The Name Changer comes across the line and he goes 9th with the 118.9. Nice lap there by Neo. Montana all the way down to Ewan, separated by dead on a second.
Wow. Exactly 1 second. Alphatrix across the line now. He goes into third position, just a little bit behind M Short, who put in a lap time somewhere along the line. But Alphatrix really beginning to pick up a little bit of momentum in recent weeks. So really from him, Chapelele, I believe this is one of the only drivers on a run at the moment. He's just coming through the second sector split now. He's done a 47.4 through this sector, coming through the deathly chicane where you can invalidate on the exit there, and he was right on the limit, but he's luckily got away from that one and coming up towards turn number 14. Pretty easy enough corner, and running wide. That's invalidated his time. I did it again.
Pretty easy enough corner, and he invalidates coming on the exit of the curb at 13. Chapelele, he's going to go again by the looks though on this lap. Has he realised that he's actually invalidated on this lap? It would have been, I think, a 118.9 across the line. Yeah, 118.8 in fact from Chapelele, and he comes out the pit lane. There is a man just coming out the pit lane behind him. I think that's Hardy coming out the pit lane. Just to pinpoint as well, we have seen a name change actually on track, and it's this guy. Normally known as just Ace-Ass, but we're naming him now just Ass. Doesn't really make sense, does it?
It doesn't ring as well as just Ace-Ass did, but he's recently joined, of course, NSX, which a lot of the drivers on the grid are affiliated with. His teammate just behind him on a run at the moment, but I believe Killer Blue, or XL Noon as you might know him now, he actually put him in the Killer Instincts. This is a little bit of good momentum coming on from just Ace-Ass. He's about to begin his lap now, 8th in the standings, in the points every single race, aside from Canada where he didn't finish. So he's having a pretty strong season, and I think Killer Blue tips him to be one of the winners tonight, and Vaporizer giving him a healthy tow down the straightaway with DRS as well, coming to turn number 3. That's going to give him a nice bit of time, and well, with the talent that Justice has, it is, it just doesn't sound right, but with the talent that he has, he's certainly going to be on for a good sector here. 26.0. I don't know how good that is.
Yeah, good first sector actually from just Ace-Ass. We'll just name him just Ace-Ass for the sake of it. It's now coming through turn 9 and then through turn 10, the Lithuanian. Be hoping to try and pick up another good result here in qualifying. Montana out on top. M Short, by the way, second, only 200ths of a second off. 2500ths if you make that to me. 47.4 from just Ace-Ass coming through the middle sector through 12. Really committed through there. Very impressive through there, and I think honestly, he could be going around Connor Vaporizer sort of area. He's twitching about in terms of Chapelele's outlap, what he did. Oh, that invalidated lap, I should say. It was a 118.8. Watch out for this lap, because I think it might be just quicker than that. Now, just Ace-Ass comes out the final 2 corners, through 15, then through 16. This right-hander flies out the final corner, and now just Ace-Ass towards the line. I think it's going to be 118.8. Comes across the line, 118.7, and he goes 6th. And he's only 1,000th off that man there, Zhao Zhao, who I think has had a mistake out on track, and he lost his left side end plate.
Yeah, that might have been, I think that was through the first corner, which seems to be a bit of a deathly one. If you get on the wrong side of the curb, of course, if you take it too much, it'll unsettle the car completely and it'll send you into a spin. And
speaking of unsettling of the car, Montana nearly lost it coming through turn 12. I was on board with that lap, sorry to cut in there, but he's 700ths of a second up, coming through that middle sector, so Montana will be hoping to try and improve up the field, or try and improve his lap time, certainly. He is currently pole position at this moment in time, nearly halfway through in qualifying. Montana leading, M Short second, Alphatrix in third. Is that gap now going to get bigger to M Short? Comes across the line. Yes, it is, by a commanding margin. Montana, 0.2 of a second more than that over M Short, and that might be a statement right there from our current champion. He's hitting the form at the exact right time in the season. His nearest championship rival behind him on an outlap currently, but can M Short try and respond to that? He's got to find 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, it's going to be a tall order to top that lap. We're expecting to see times that are pretty low, like the 1 minute 18.4 that we've seen just there. Pole to be around about a 0.3, I'd say. I think Montana will probably try and improve on that one, especially with the Twitch. He's just letting through, I believe that's Colin Bly, just coming through, just ASAS. No, not just ASAS. I don't know why I mentioned just ASAS, but M Short coming through the final sector. He's on his outlap. He's got his teammate of Neo, who's also on an outlap. Yeah, seems like everyone else. Just trying to heat up those tyres. He's not got anything to worry about. He's going to come out the final corner to begin this lap.
On board with Alphatrix coming through the middle sector. He's 600ths of a second up, so he is responding ahead of M Short's time currently. Flies out of turn 11 and 12. Love that camera angle coming through there. And now on the run in towards turn 13. I've got myself on the background, which is not that great. Alphatrix there coming through turn 13, and now coming through 14. Shafalelli just won a set of Delta time. That's why he was out on track, and that's why he invalidated. So yeah, Delta time, actually, that makes sense. Alphatrix there coming through 15 and then through 16. It's now Alphatrix now. Is he going to try and challenge Montana for pole position? And Tager, since we've seen this, comes across the line. He doesn't really. He does improve by a 1/10 of a second though. Fine improvement, but that man there, M Short, he's more than a 1/10 up. Coming out of the middle sector, now coming up towards 13, coming up towards 9 and 10 out on track, I should say, and now up towards turn 11 and 12, this fearsome chicane. As Dan has already mentioned, there's a Ferrari just about hogging the inside there of the apex, just in behind M Short. Not really committed through there, if I've got to be very, very picky with these guys. M Short now coming out the final couple of corners. Through 13 he comes. Can he try and improve? He's got very low fuel on that car, but it might mean that he's going to try and improve further up the field. I think that turn 11 and 12, though, might have just done him in. M Short now coming out the final couple of corners. Through 15, then through 16, runs wide, nearly gets caught into the wall there on the left-hand side, but M Short comes across the line. And it's a 1:18.5, and he set exactly the same time as Alphatrix.
Wow, that is quite the margin between the pair of them. Exactly nothing to the nearest 1,000th of a second, but it was looking really strong for M Short at the beginning of his run, and then it just kind of crumbled towards the end. He made quite a few mistakes, but it certainly ruined that lap. Connor in 9th position. He's currently 4/10 off the pace at the moment. He's just coming through turn number 3 now in the first sector. A really tricky part of the circuit, especially through here, where there's a lot of understeer. You can definitely run wide and invalidate your time. He's done it pretty nicely so far on this run here. We'll see him crossing through a second sector split, and he is he's improved by quite some way, almost 0.2 of a second. He's just invalidated on exit. Come on, man. And that is the time completely done in for him. Cookie Game just coming up to the line. He goes into 9th position ahead of Connor, who's just invalidated. I believe Ewan as well is the only driver on a lap at the moment.
Yeah, Ewan is invalidated, actually, coming through the final sector, coming through turn 13, as now Ewan is on a lap time, but as I say, it's invalidated out on track. If you are just tuning in, welcome along to Australia. Here it is, round 7 of the championship here, season 5, Australia. Myself and Daniel Field taking you through the stream, and you might have heard the sad news earlier on, about 15 minutes ago now, 20 minutes ago from when we started this stream, that Murray Walker has sadly passed away at the age of 97. Murray, of course, a legendary of the commentary box. He's got plenty of Murrayisms. I wonder if there's going to be any headisms out on track tonight.
We have quite a few every single week on circuit at the moment. Zhao Zhao almost 2/10 up on his lap at the moment. He didn't seem to be too committed through turns 11 and turn 12, and up towards turn 14 here. A big lock up to the right tyre, but through the final sector he comes. Pretty slow at the slowest part of the circuit, especially through this corner here, and opening up the steering to now just close it right back in and come back onto the straightaway. It's looking pretty strong on this lap actually, and to the line he goes into 4th position. He lost a bit of time in that 3rd sector actually. That might have been down to either the lock-up where he could pretty much miss his apex, or wherever he lost it in the chicane.
Gotta be honest as well with that, as Just ASAS goes up into second. Good lap time there from Just ASAS, 118.5. Just noticed that going ahead of Alphatrix and M Short, both on the same lap time. Vaporize as well went fifth. Jojo currently in sixth position. Yeah, you mentioned about Jojo. The one thing that I'm going to be very critical about him, as he's just invalidated coming out of turn 7, and that's even more criticism coming his way. His gear changes coming out the final couple of corners. Those short gear changes, they're short and snappy, but it does lose you a bit of time coming out the final corner. So maybe if he just was to run a little bit of a lengthier gear on the final, coming into like 6th and 7th gear, coming through the final couple of corners, he should be fine, I think, and he should improve.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of work to be done. I believe Vaporizer put in a lap just behind him as well, and he has gone into 5th position. 18.5, pretty strong time. He's not too far off the drivers who put the same lap in, of course, of Alphatrix and M Short. I'm still quite staggered by it, but I believe he's got one driver on a push lap who's almost 3 tenths up. It's going blind. The Ferrari car. He's in 14th position at the moment on a 19.1. If he has a really strong improvement here, he can see himself rocketed up to the top 10. We'll see him 3 tenths exactly through the second sector split, and now through the chicane. Took it pretty quickly, actually, I think. And on the run up out of the RS straight into this turn 14. Oh, he really attacked the apex there. They got a nice run through there. I'd say it's actually looking like quite a decent lap.
He's going to go ahead of Verstappen here, I think.
Yeah, I think he's certainly in the running for it. We'll see him coming out the final corner now, up through the gears. He's running out of fuel, but he's going to cross the line here. What can he do?
Oh.
10th, unfortunately. He was close, but 2 thousandths off Toxic.
2 thousandths off Toxic, and about 500ths of a second off my prediction actually coming right for once here in League of Europe. Goodness me. Some things never really change, do they? Alphatrix is on an outlap. I think he's going to be one of the next to come across the line. I can't make my way, though, past Jojo there, but we are now on board with Alphatrix, and he is back out on track, 118.569, same lap time as M Short. He's 500ths of a second off Just ASAS, currently out on track as well. Montana out on top, Just ASAS second, Alphatrix in third, M Short in fourth. Doom saying, by the way, I was criticising his gear changes, Jojo actually running automatic gears, so no wonder he's got short shifting. Automatic gears in League 1? I mean, come on.
That's a bit of an odd one. I know that the assists are allowed, but automatic is. I mean, if you're at the pit, he could do whatever he's comfortable with. No one really cares. But I think if you're in Division 1 and you're on auto gears, you should probably try and change that, because it is a lot quicker to go with manual if you can nail it down. And considering he's already on 18.6. Got a lot of time that can be made, but he's just kind of wasting that potential on auto gears.
Alphatrix is purple in the middle sector, coming out through 11 and 12, flying through the chicane. That was as much as commitment as I've ever seen coming through that chicane there. Now coming up in towards 13, that's a shocking camera angle as we now come out. Now back on board with him, coming in towards 14, and then in towards 15 and 16. He's got traffic just ahead of him. That's Name Changer. He better get a move on. He better get a shift on. He might actually give him a little bit of slipstream running down the straight. Alphatrix at the final corner. This is a good lap from Alphatrix. He's coming to the line. He's going to improve it well. Goals into second. Good lap time by Alphatrix. Really found the commitment in that final sector. I thought for a moment he was going to get traffic. He didn't, and Alphatrix goes into second. Montana, though, responding 3 thousandths of a second up coming out the first sector.
Yeah, Montana, of course, I predicted him to go at least a 10th quicker. So I'd say a low 18.3 or a high 0.2. We'll see him just about to come up to the second sector split now. And we'll see if he has got that improvement in the tank. He's actually down as qualifying is winding down. So if you're not on a lap, which I believe everyone aside from Cohen is, then you are not going to be able to set a new one as of now. The clock can struck zero. I believe there's a Williams that was the last driver to start a lap, and that was Cookie Games.
D. Daniels retired coming out the pit lane. So he's obviously, I don't know what's happened there with D. Daniel, but he's just came out of the pit and just retired out on track, which I don't blame him. Kooky Games has retired out the session as well, so he's too late coming out of the pit there. Montana, though, is improving, comes across the line, and he does go quickest, but for how long? Has just ASOS got any response? Has M Short got any response? Yes, Toxic goes 6th with a 118.610. We're going to see plenty of improvements for up and down the field. Lando goes 16th, in fact, down there. The Chinese going pre-winner, of course. M Short, though, can he find something out this final sector? He wasn't that quick coming through 11 and 12. I think this is probably quicker than his last lap, and it is quicker. M Short could be challenging for pole position here. Comes across the line. M Short falls short, and he goes 3rd with a 118.452. Alphatrix is not improving. Just ASAS is just invalidated coming out of turn 13. Oh, turn 14, I should say. Vaporizer's behind him coming across the line. He's invalidated out the final corner as well. And I think that is qualified now. Over and done with. Kazizel, I think, is out there on a lap as he now comes across the line. He's the only one that's actually valid on a lap. He comes across the line, and he goes 9th. Good improvement there from from Kazizel, I should say. A 118.651. But Montana to the top of the pile. Alphatrix in 2nd. A good 1-2 there. That's going to be spicy in the race. And Zhao Zhao in 3rd position. Zhao Zhao, let's just face it, on automatic gears is 600ths of a second off Montana. If he was on manual gears, would he be a class above the rest?
He could. I don't know if it'll gain him that much time to be consistently quicker. Over one lap, there's a good improvement that he could have made. But yeah, he's just limited by that assist.
Look at the top 4, 700ths of a second, separating the top 4 drivers. Montana out on top from Alphatrix in 2nd. Zhao Zhao 3rd. M Short championship leader in 4th, with just ASAS in 5th. Vaporizer 6th. Toxic 7th, Campbell in 8th, Kazizel in 9th, Verstappen ran off the top 10, Connor, Kuhn Bly, Kooky Games, Neo and D. Daniel ran off the top 15, just over 6 cents per second, separating the top 15. Ewan Lando, name changer, top 18, separated by just over 8 tenths per second. Hardy in 19th, never getting a real improvement in on his lap. And Schiaparelli as well, didn't even set a time. He picked up so many invalidations, I think. Obviously, with that delta time, it was hard to improve. He invalidated constantly on his laps, and he's down there in 20th position, and he's going to have to make up a hell of a lot of ground in this race. As we now come to the streets of Melbourne, Albert Park Circuit awaiting these drivers out on track. 16 turns, 29 laps awaiting these guys, and that is why people were running a mixed setup, because it is full wet conditions. This might be circa 98 Belgium.
I'm hoping it's not, because we'd have a pretty boring race if it was all of them out at turn number 1. Of course, no red flags on the game, but well, this will make for a very, very interesting race.
Wow, and I think if my mind sets me right, I think this is the first full wet race of League of Europe this season in Division 1.
I believe so. I think we've seen
Inters
weather before.
We've seen Inters Austria.
Yeah. Austria we had Inters. Russia, did we have Inters? I don't know if we did. I'm getting my leagues mixed up, I think. We had Canada. Canada was intermediate.
Canada, yeah.
But we've never had a fully wet blue wall-side race. Oh, this is frightening.
It's wetter than a dog. Out on track. 29 laps awaiting these drivers out on track, and 20 cars going to be going round. You can see how difficult it is to even pinpoint these guys out on track running down in towards turn 1. Australia could throw up possibly the race of the season right here, right now. Montana right on top, Alphatrix in 2nd, Zhao Zhao in 3rd. There's no need for us to go through the tyre compound for the guys out on track. You can probably see that with your own eyes. If not, look to the left-hand side. They're on full wet tyres out on track. And Montana and Alphatrix, they've got to try and get the best starts possible, because I fear Zhao Zhao, who's been a master of the wet, he finished 2nd, of course, remember, in Austria. There's a predicted pit stop strategy just coming up on your screen as well. But Zhao Zhao, he could be, I think, if he gets his second phase of the start right, I think he might get both of them running down in towards turn 1.
Yeah, he could actually be in a pretty good position to take it, of course, starting right behind Montana. It's probably ideal to start at the head of the field if you are in wet conditions, because if you're starting towards the back, visibility is going to be dreadful. But just before the race actually starts, I want to just mention, if you go on board with Montana, it's one of the most satisfying things to do. No disturbed water in front of him, just look at reflections. It's so beautiful to see.
It is really, really nice to see, and that's what we can pinpoint as well. I had a full wet race actually last night in Singapore, and then it turned dry towards the end of the race. I wonder if it's going to do exactly the same here in Australia, in exactly the same weather conditions out on track. Montana leading Alphatrix in second, Zhao Zhao in third. Zhao Zhao is on auto gears, sorry, is the comment from Matt Tibos in the comment section as well. He is, he's on automatic gears, and he's third position, 600ths of a second off the champion, Montana, from last season, and Montana will be hoping to try and get this good phase of the start. We are now getting the final cars around out on track, and it is going to be time to throw it over to my co-commentator. Who on earth is your top three?
I'm going to say Zhao Zhao wins this race. I think Justesas in second, and in third we'll go with Campbell.
That's a very weird top three.
Oh,
are you sure?
Not?
Are you sure?
No, I'm not sure at all, but why not?
Goodness, but yeah, Fal confirming that Zhao Zhao is on automatic gears. It could be the second phase of the start, as I say. That could be the real phase of the start. You can see the red light on these cars are beginning to flash, as now we're going to get 5 red lights out on track. And we are about to get going. Round 7 of the championship. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4, and 5. And it's go, go, go. Montana leads, but Zhao Zhao's got a really good start. So has Alphatrix as well. We already get a graphic snitch to the left-hand side. Oh, there's contact at the start. Alphatrix and Montana are into each other off the start. I think Montana just came across him there. He's ghosted inside of cars, and Alphatrix leads coming through turn 1. Drama already here in Australia. Alphatrix is under pressure from Zhao Zhao and behind, but Alphatrix leads in towards turn 3. I've never seen a start like that ever. Alphatrix leading the way, dropping down the field. Montana, he's got damage on the left-hand side end plate as well. There's more contact further down. I think Kumblai has been caught up an instant further down the field, but Alphatrix through the first sector has absolutely ripped away from Zhao Zhao with 5/10 of a second. M Short in third. Toxic has got a good start, and he's right on the back of M Short, but drama early on in Australia.
Two giants of League of Europe collide before the first corner. Even comes Montana with wing damage. He'll be limping back home to the pits. Of course, he's going to have to get that wing change. There's no way in the wet conditions he'll be able to take that to the end. But he did well. Brilliant start for Alphatrix, regardless of the incident. As Montana taking a trip through the grass. There's a lot of squabbling further back in about 15th position, fighting for 14th at the moment. They're all just trying to get as much grip in the cars as in the tyres as possible. They're going to be ice cold at this point.
Both Ferraris are going side by side as well. Lando lets through Hardy, but it could be a bit of an effect as Kumblai tries to go around the outside of him. Name Changer trying to go on the inside line, coming through 13, and now side by side between the two Ferraris. They better not make contact. In fact, Name Changer's through. Great move there by Name Changer. Gets the car stopped into 14, gets the move done into turn 7, up into 17th he goes. Alphatrix leads at the end of lap 1, 142.8. I'm sure underneath that start there will be an investigation. Toxic trying to get onto the back further down the field as well. Kazizzle on the back of Vaporizer for 7th and 8th. Relatively good start. Chapelelli has sped into the pit lane. He might retire out the race. Montana also in, as well as Lando. So all of them three caught up in some sort of contact early on. Anything can happen here, though, in Formula 1. Anything can happen here in Australia. But Alphatrix has got a commanding advantage. 1.3 seconds out in front, and obviously there is going to be talk about that start from Alphatrix. Got the best phase at the start. I don't think he realised that Montana was alongside him, but Alphatrix currently commanding this race.
Yeah, I think that might be the stewards might be a little bit busy come the end of the Grand Prix tonight, especially with the amount of incidents, but they can't give up hope, the drivers that have pitted, because in the wet weather, safety cars are highly likely, and drivers are going to be struggling to get around the circuit. It seems like Campbell's really not having a good time with it, because he's got Connor breathing down his neck coming out the chicane. He's got a much worse exit than the Renault car, and that's not going to allow him to try and make a move in towards turn number 14. But he was right on the gearbox of the Renault car. Of course, now Alpine, brilliant car that we've seen on track today in testing. But yeah, unfortunate that Connor had that run, because he would have been right on the back and probably through into 5th position.
Daniels run on the back of E1 as well. The two Dutchmen about to do battle with Neil for 12th. Cookie Games just beginning to pull away ahead of him as well. To 8/10 of a second, the gap in between. At the final corner they come. Onto lap 3 we go. We normally say at this point DRS will be enabled, but it's not. Alphatrix leads. JJ second, M Short and third, and Schiaparelli is retired. Coming through turn 12, it could deploy a safety car, an early one out on track as well. It's Alphatrix who leads. JJ second, M Short in third. Montana's just coming through the scene of the accident there. Coming through turn 12, I think he's got caught on the outside curb there, Schiaparelli. It doesn't look like, I think the safety car would have been out by now if it was to come out. It might be a VSC at this stage, but Alphatrix is leading, Jajo in second. Look at the top two, as actually we don't get anything in the end. Alphatrix leading, Jajo second, but look at the top two. 3.3 seconds they've already pulled to the championship leader, M Short.
Completely streaking away from M Short, but of course these two aren't really in the fight for the championship, so M Short in the perfect position. Neither of his rivals are in the points at the moment. D Daniel down in 14th, Montana with a big amount of wing damage as well. M Short getting away from Toxic just a little bit. He touched the grass coming through, I believe, turn number 7, I think it is, and really, he lost him quite a bit of time, but he has still got a nice advantage on Campbell, who has begun to hit his stride, I think. He's breaking away from Connor ever so slightly. The rain doesn't seem to be letting up all too much, so I'm wondering if we will actually see any intermediate phase in this Grand Prix. It is unlikely with this rain that is currently falling, but if it does get lighter, it could certainly be
Cookie Games risks. Cookie Games makes a mistake. He's side by side with Neo coming out of 15. He just went way too deep into the corner. He actually holds the position as E1 nearly gets caught as well. But here's Neo now pretty much going side by side with Cookie Games. E1 just in behind as well. And in the end, Neo's not going to risk it for a chocolate biscuit or a bourbon or custard cream. Cookie Games in 11th, Neo in 12th, E1 13th. And E1's actually got the better run out of the three of them. Now on the back, he used up his overtake mode to good effect. Can he try and close him down in towards? He's got to absolutely send it. Can he lick and send it? No, he can't. And actually, D Daniel's been caught up in a slight incident there as well. Not sure if he picked up any damage. He tries to go around the outside of turn 4. He's got the traction on the outside. He's forced onto the sausage curb. He's still there on the inside. D Daniel could still pull this off. No, he can't. No, E1 and D Daniel are still side by side. Coming in towards turn 6. This is bold. This is brave. And the LR man trying to get the inside of the VER man. XL right in this as well with Hardy. Hardy right on the back, but D Daniel still trying to fight to try and get that position on E1. He's now down the inside line and towards turn 9. He doesn't. Cookie Games has run wide just in front as well. But D Daniel, somehow, in all of that, did not get through.
That was a stoic defense from E1, and he's just trying to beat now. He wants to try and catch up to the two that are fighting right in front of him, of Neo and Cookie Games. Cookie seemingly struggling at this point, and all this fighting has actually dropped them by quite some margin, 2.2 seconds to Verstappen now. And yeah, it's just not really what they want to do on lap number 4 of the Grand Prix. We'll come on to lap number 5 very shortly, but yeah, a bit clumsy to be fighting this early on, but I guess you want to make the positions when you can, and they got to just try and take the opportunity a little bit more. I think probably could have been a little bit more commitment from the drivers who were trying to make moves, but yeah, it is what it is, and they've just got to stick behind in the positions they are now.
Gotta be honest and say, the rain, suddenly the cloud conditions look like they're getting a little bit lighter, so I'm imagining we're going to see intermediate running probably within the next 6 or 7 laps, I would say, out on track. It looks to me it's still heavy rain, as you can see on your screen, but Alphatrix leading 2.2 seconds. The gap is very consistent for the leaders, but they're pulled now 5.2, 5.3, 5.4 in fact, over M Short, as M Short now comes in towards turn 6 once again. Toxic, Campbell following through with Connor in 6th, Vaporizer 7th, Kazizel in 8th, Joseitas in 9th, Verstappen in 10th, and Verstappen is going to be the one that we're going to go on board with now, and you can see he's second short shifting at a premium here, down in towards turns 9 and 10. He's right on the back of Joseitas. I thought he was going to be close enough possibly for a little bit of a goal, but he's not. D Daniel in the meantime in on the back of E1, and E1 in the meantime on the back of Neil. Schiaparelli of course retiring out the race after crashing out through turn 12. No deployment of the VSC or the safety car out on track. Alphatrix leading, Jajo second, gap now 6 seconds between second and third.
They've completely rocketed away from M Short, the championship leader, who has got a nice healthy gap to Toxic. It is very difficult to actually make any moves in the wet conditions anyway, so I don't think he's too worried about the Haas car behind him. He gets very leery on the exit and almost spins the car completely, but luckily he was able to save it. This could be a really good position for Toxic, for picking his first point last time out in Canada. He's now put himself in a much better position. The closest gap on circuit at the moment is between Kazizel and Just Asas, newly joining NSX, and he could be onto the back of the Brit coming towards turn number 3. Is he going to send it? No, he's just going to hang back for the time being. He's way too far back to really commit to a move.
The Daniels into the back of E1, running down in towards turn 3, pretty much shoves him coming through the corner there as E1 stays in 13th, the Daniel in 14th position. I wonder, actually, these top two are getting away very, very quickly from M Short and Toxic. I wonder if these guys are running automatic gears and running traction control, because I think the guys on a bit of a manual setup, per se, are losing time compared to those who are running assists. Alphatrix and Jojo, I know for a fact, run assists, and Alphatrix is on a pad as well, so I think Jojo is now beginning to try and close up on Alphatrix, but the front two beginning to pull away massively. It's now 7 seconds the gap as Just Asas is on the back of Kazizel, coming out through turns 11 and 12 once again, but he gets a really poor exit, the Lithuanian, on the back of the Brit, and I don't think the Brit is going to lose the position here at least. Just Asas on the back, and Vaporizer actually dropping off the back of Connor.
Yeah, just to go back to your point about the assist factor, I know that both of them use ABS. Zhao Zhao uses automatic. I believe ABS is a little bit worse in the rain actually, so it could be an advantage to have it off. And after the ABS too. The pad advantage, yeah, Falk did mention both of them are actually on pads as well. So and M Short is on wheel, of course. The only assist he uses is the line, because he was way too quick.
Just Asas did, he lost it coming out of turn 2. A bit of a Larry moment, just trying to recover the car. Verstappen on the back of him, but not quite close enough. Alphatrix leading Jojo in second, M Short in third. Jojo doesn't use ABS, has just been confirmed by Falk as well in the comment section, and Auto Gear and Line is his assist. So that is why I think we're probably seeing Alphatrix and Jojo begin to pull away. They're both on a pad, they're both running some sort of assists, and that seems to be, pardon the pun, assisting the man on track.
Well, Short does use line, and he recently won the highest line tier only of PSGL F3. He's a champion of that division, so we could see him on no line soon. I think Toxic's online as well, so a lot of these guys running assist. This race could become a hangman.
I think it is. We need good old Lenny. Lenny's not racing tonight in Division 2, so I hope he is watching and he comes into the comment section. Of course, he was my co-commentator as well on Monday evening in the season finale of Division 2 of Liga Group Formula 2. Alphatrix new fastest lap of the race at 1:35.7. You're on board with, though, Kazizel on the back of Vaporizer for 7th and 8th position. He's now close, as he ever has been, to the back of the NSX man, and these two go way, way back in terms of their rivalry. NSX against Kazizel. Kazizel, of course, racing for FRL in terms of esports. He also raced against Vaporizer in FRL, the league that I used to commentate on back in the day. As now Kazizel will try and get onto the back of Vaporizer, but sadly, I don't think he's going to be close enough down in towards turn 3. You may as well now get out the LOE Hangman.
Yeah, there's too many FRLs in this, because FRL, the organisation they drive for in the Chapelele, that's also a league, but it's not the Fantery. Oh, really, Larry on the exit is Kazizel there, but it's just Formula 1 Racing League. It's on a Friday night. It's a brilliant league. I am an admin there, so I do know these guys pretty well. But yeah, there's just too many FRLs. Need to change it up.
Yeah, self-promotion there for F1RL on the stream. Anybody wants self-promotion, they can get it, because this will actually really hit the wall coming out through turn 10. You know what, we may as well put TTML out there as well. How do you like it now, LOE? Alphatrix leading, 3.5 seconds. Zhao Zhao, has he made a mistake out on track? He must have made a mistake, because it's now 3.5 seconds. It was 2.2. Zhao Zhao has surely had a mistake out on track for this gap to have suddenly just jumped up by a second and a half.
I think Alphatrix is beginning to turn up a gear. He is improving on his laps quite massively, and Zhao Zhao 3/10 down on his fastest time, so he's losing quite a lot of time, and that might be the amount of fuel they're running. You can see Alphatrix, he's got the yellow fuel light at the bottom. That means he won't make it to the end without saving some fuel. And you do typically want to do this in the wet weather conditions, as Montana picking up the first 3-second time penalty of the evening on lap number 9. But you want the lighter car by running less fuel, and you could go a bit quicker in the wet. So I think just AlphaTruck's trying to improve as much as he can and really push the car as well. He's improving again on his previous fastest lap.
Oh, I'll tell you what, got a bit of action. Neil tries to go around the outside of Kuka Games. Kuka Games again just misjudging his braking point down in towards turn 3, and now Neil's running the back of him, but the Slovenian suddenly pulls out about 4/10 of a gap on the German, and the German cannot catch back up to the back of Kuka Games. But watch out for Kuka Games, because I think this is going to span into a real battle, this. Kuka Games and Neo, if Kuka Games keeps on making these slight errors out on track, he's going to be punished for them. The Daniel run on the back of Iwan as well. Kuka Games didn't make a mistake that time around. Neo, Iwan and D. Daniel are following through. If he holds them up and he keeps making mistakes and these guys cannot get past behind, Hardy, Name Changer and Kuhn Bly will be on top of these guys very quickly indeed, as actually Kuka Games has got a really poor run out of turn 11, now through turn 12 and now up towards turn 13. Neo on the outside line, the McLaren going side by side, wheel to wheel, tries to go around the outside through turn 13. Just about gets squeezed, but he gets the move done. Neo has ran the outside through 13. He is through, and he's into 11th position as the Daniel tries to follow through. And the E1 in the background as well. Kuka Games into the back of Neo, tries to force him out. It's all getting a little bit leery, and this is what I meant. Hardy, Name Changer, and Kuhn Bly. Hardy's only 1.7 seconds off. It was 2.5. They've just lost 0.8 of a second because of all this battling, because of all this squabbling. They're falling over each other essentially now. E1 on the back of D. Daniel, I should say, on the back of E1. E1 in turns on the back of Kuka Games. Neil should begin to get away now, I think, but Kuka Games is not going to lie down without a fight. No, there's D. Daniel on the back of E1 as well, and E1 now to the outside line. D. Daniel's very late on the brakes. He tries to send it all the way around the outside line, coming through turn 3. Doesn't quite pull it off, and E1 stays in 13th for now.
Really committed there from D. Daniel, but he just didn't find the move on E1. He wants that position as he gets very hairy on the exit. Larry and hairy, I'm missing up my words all around, but he manages to save it there. He's lost quite a chunk of time, and I think E1 might actually be trying to push Kuka Games here, who's lost quite a considerable amount of time in comparison to Neo. He's now 1 second off, as now he runs very, very deep. Look at D. Daniel. He went all over the back of him, pretty much nose to rear wing. As I can't speak today, as D. Daniel, he's pushing him around here, as we've just seen Spag in the chat. Did someone say Hangman? Well, not anymore, because there's quite a bit of action at the moment.
He must be watching on lag back, because I called him about 5 minutes ago, but there we are. Kuka Games in 12th, E1 in 13. Toxic, by the way, and all of that, picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's on the back of M Short for 3rd and 4th position. Campbell's not too far off that either, so all of this battling further down the field beginning to let, as I said, Hardy, Name Changer and Kuhn Bly. I'm an absolute statistician out on track, and actually, Kuka Games is into the pit lane. I wonder if he's actually got a little bit of wearing tyres. Actually, the rain's beginning to get a little bit lighter, I think, out on track. So I wonder if he's going to go in inters, or if he's going to go full wet, or get a wing change. That's what's going through my head at the minute.
There's no wing. It looks like another set of... It's inters. He's on another set of inters. Sorry, first set of inters. So he's going to be the first one to gamble. And it's still looking pretty wet out on circuit. Lando's just about to overtake him here. We'll see actually. We'll see a good comparison in however they're... Oh dear,
oh dear, goodness me! And, all we can say is it's definitely not intermediate compound tyres out on track. Lando was through on Kuka Games.
Montana's coming as well for the intermediate tyres, but this is just too early, I think. As we saw there.
Montana may as well risk it though. He's right down the back of the field. Kuka Games was in amongst the squabble for like 12th position out on track. Montana may as well try something. Kuka Games, I'm really, really conscious that he's made the wrong decision. But it does look like the rain is easing out on track. I think, personally, we're about 3 laps away from Inters.
I think, yeah, I'd probably say that is around about right. But I think some of these guys will probably try and pit as soon as Kuka Games. Yeah, it's not the right tyres at all. He's made the call a bit too early, I think. But the rain has begun to ease up just a little bit, and drivers are going to be losing confidence in their wets. So we are going to see them coming to the pit lane in the next couple of laps. I don't think anyone has come around this
Cookie
time.
Games is out.
Cookie Games is out of the race. He's lost that at where
Turn
Chapelain
12.
lost it out of turn 12.
Safety car.
Safety car. LOE Hangman time.
LOE Hangman time, safety car out on track, but what does this do in terms of the race? Because we have just said, I think it's too early for inters. Is it going to be too early for inters? Obviously they're going at a bit of a delta time now on this lap, so they're going to be slow. The rain is going to keep on easing up out on track. The track is going to then dry. Is it going to be inters for the whole field, or are drivers going to risk it for a few more laps and then come in and then end themselves up further down the field? It's going to be fascinating in terms of strategy. I think if I was in these drivers' positions, I'd probably all come into the pit lane. But Lando was back into the pit lane as well, probably for a fresh set of inters. Safety car is out on track there, but AlphaTrix leading, Jajo second, M Short in third, Toxic in fourth, Campbell, Connor, Vaporizer, Kizizzle, just Asas and Verstappen ran off the top 10. It's Neo, E1, Daniel Hardy, Name Changer and Kumbly ran off the top 16. Lando and Montana both going round on a set of inters. Lando's came in for a fresh set of inters. Montana has stayed out on his fresh set. And now we're about to see what AlphaTrix is going to do. Is he going to stay out? Is he going to come in? One word, come in.
That's 2 words.
It's 2 words. I'm not really good at LB Hangman, am I?
Yeah, without a doubt in my mind, I knew that they were all going to come in. I believe that the only driver who's probably going to lose out quite a bit is Verstappen, because he's going to have to stack behind Campbell, and I think he's actually just backing off here. He doesn't want to go in too early, and just so he doesn't lose out, but I think he will lose out to his teammate who is in the box now. He's just pulling into the pit lane actually, and veering off to the right hand side. Verstappen will get held up here, I think, by his teammate, because double stacks aren't a thing on this game. For whatever reason, they're just not a thing. It's kind of annoying. It does take away a little bit of a realism aspect, but the crew will have to go back into the garage, then pull out the tyres for him. He's actually lost. I don't think he's lost anything. He might not have lost the position.
I don't think he has. I don't think he has, because other drivers have been held up in the pit lane, I think, just ahead of him, out on track. One word, come in. Yeah, that's a headism out on track, I think. AlphaTrix is leading, Jajo in second, Kumbly in third. Kumbly, actually, he has stayed out on a set of wet compound tyres.
Yeah, stayed out. What?
He'll come into the pit lane, I think.
I think it'd have been smarter to just pit when he could have, because, well, he's probably going to lose a position to Lando, I'd expect. We got our first hangman in there. That's 5 letters space 4 letters. Is this an LOE driver? James Head.
Is it me?
James Head is the answer. It's got to be.
Is it me? Or is it Dakar Head? Who knows?
Dakar Head. Yes.
Under the safety car. Lap 13 out of 29, AlphaTrix leading, Jajo second, Kumbly in third, M Short in fourth, with Toxic in fifth. I was going to say Spag in fifth. Goodness me, he doesn't want to be driving for Toxic out on track. It's not me, apparently, which is quite good. Is it XL Neo by any chance?
Or XL Noon?
XL Noon, yeah.
XL Ryan?
XL Ryan. XL E1? No. He's not part of XL, is he? Kumbly in from third position. I'm not surprised actually that he is coming into the pit. Then he's obviously going to be cost quite a lot of time out on track. He's going to join, I think, possibly behind Lando when he comes out the pit. Then he goes on to a set of inters, and it is their PSN. It's got to be one of the XL drivers, obviously.
He's on hards. Cohen's on hard tyres.
No. This happened to him in Division 1 as well in Singapore in TTML, and I think, even though the pit window says mediums, lap 14 to 24, judging by that, it's definitely not hard compound tyres down on track. I think the game has put him on that compound tyre possibly, and that is why he's down in 17th position. Montana, you've got to feel sorry for as well. He's down in 18th position. He might even not make it onto the back of the safety car.
I think they'll probably allow for him to catch up. I think we'll do one more lap on the safety car. XL Gary, there's too many 4-letter words in XL. It's not fair.
XL Gary, it is. I totally didn't say that when that comment came up either. There we are. Make of that what you will.
What a shame.
It's Alphatrix out on top. It's Zhao Zhao second, M Short in third. I wonder if we are going to get the safety car in this lap. Might be the next lap around. Kublai is certainly on the back now of the safety car queue. Montana isn't. Looks like it's normally around here. Normally around this point here, on the exit of turn 12, this is where the safety car should come into the pit lane on the run up in towards 13. This is where it should. If it doesn't, then obviously it is going to be out for at least another lap to wait for Montana to get onto the back of the safety car queue. Alphatrix still leading, Zhao Zhao second, M Short in third, Toxic in fourth, Campbell in fifth at this moment in time. Ryan coming into the comment section and saying it's the worst Excel member, Excel Gary. Gary's now going to come into the comment section and probably berate him out of the team.
How dare he call Gary the worst member of Excel? I'm quite upset by that actually. But we've got another entry.
Another one.
Jeez, how many letters is that? That looks like 9 letters, I think.
9 letters.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Chapelelli?
I think it's their full PSN. Apparently, there's a pit window open for the intermediate tyres again, but
oh, Lando's left the session. Lando's left the session, and he's had a collision with Name Changer, and he's got a 5-second penalty. That one bothers the wrong man.
I don't think either of them has damage at all, unless no, I'm not seeing it.
Oh, what? What on earth's happening here?
Flags. This
has got to be a glitch. His car's going to be disqualified at the race, surely. If this continues up, if this is a glitch, Lando is going to be disqualified from the race if he doesn't rejoin in the session, possibly. You'll see another 5-second penalty come up, probably any second now, if it was a glitch. But I think it's probably fixed itself, I hope. It looks like it has.
AI looks like he's trying to make a... Oh, it's actually Hardy trying to get back past his teammate or something? I have no clue what he's trying to do here.
I think Name Changer actually... I think both Lando and Name Changer actually... They had a collision. I'm not sure whether it was... He's just rejoined there out on track, as now Hardy's going to let through Lando. Of course, he would have got an illegal overtake if that was the case. Name Changer now in 16th position. Safety car, in the meantime, is coming in this lap. And it's going to be fantastic to see how this race is going to unfold. We're pretty much at the halfway stage now here in Australia. Is it going to be an instant classic? Who knows? What I can tell you, though, that rain looks like it's going to ease up very, very soon indeed. Lando Name Changer. Lando and Name Changer again have had a bit of a collision. Oh, and that's Kublai off. Kublai is off onto the grass. What is going on here? It's like... somebody's trying to do a barn dance out on track, and they're failing at it, quite literally.
What happens is that if you overtake an AI under safety car, they won't... Oh, there's a car into the wall! That's Ewan! Ewan's into the wall!
Ewan in the wall, damage.
Yeah,
has Lando got damage as well? Has Lando got damage as well? I thought I saw another end plate fly off. We are back underway though, and Alphatrix leads. Only the safety car start. JJ second, M Short in third. Connor is right on the back of Campbell. Tries to dive it down the inside. Can the Brit do it on the Scotsman? No, he can't. The Scotsman hangs on for fifth. Connor right on the back of him in sixth position, and now Connor is going to get a great run on Campbell. Running down in towards turn number 3. Tries to get to the outside line. He could try and switch it back. Campbell's gone deep. Connor runs into the back of him. Luckily, there's no end plate damage out on track. Ewan is into the pit lane to repair his damage out on track. Connor, though, still on the back of Campbell. QVR against NSX. NSX following through as well. In fact, QVR pretty much got NSX in a sandwich here as Campbell really under pressure from Connor.
Yeah, there's a big blockade of NSX drivers, and then Verstappen right at the end as well there. So Campbell losing a lot of time in comparison to his rivals. At the front, Alphatrix is 1.3 seconds away, and Zhao Zhao is 1.9 seconds ahead of M Short, who's not confident in the wet weather. It seems a lot drier than it was at the beginning of the Grand Prix. We'll see maybe if Connor can get a good run through here to attack Campbell, and he certainly is using up his overtake. He wants to go for the move, but Campbell is using up his overtake as well to defend.
Just Asas.
I believe actually just Asas has managed to get round Vaporizer here for 7th position.
And now Verstappen's got to go down the inside of Vaporizer. Oh, and there's contact between them both. On Kazizel has been caught up in an incident as well. Neo and D. Daniel caught up in a bit of a Constantino effect as well. Kazizel really wrong place at the wrong time. He's got left side end plate damage. He's got to come into the pit lane. I'm assuming he's going to retire from the race as well. So unfortunate. Wrong place and wrong time for Kazizel. And he's not going to speed into the pit lane, so he might actually continue on. We're on to lap 17 out of 29. Alphatrix leads, Jajo in second, M Short in third, Toxic fourth. But look at Connor right on the back of Campbell. Is he going to try and lunge it down the inside line, possibly into three? No, he's not, and he hangs on currently for fifth position out on track. And God knows what that hangman is.
Yeah, I can't guess it either. But it seemed like Kazizel, he's coming out of the pit lane, I think, and he's going to be trying to hang on in there in this one, which is good to see. Of course, he has he has given up in the past, I believe, but it is good to see that he is fighting on here and that he'll keep on going. At the front, though, seems like Connor still trying to apply the pressure to Campbell. These two a bit of a breakaway train at the moment from the car behind. Just a lot to Toxic up ahead of them. And I think Connor probably wants to get a move on because he's now within 0.2 of a second. He's got a bad run. Dirty Air's not going to be helping him whatsoever, and he's not going to be able to attack Campbell here. But thinking about it, he might be going for the move, and he was close, but he just backed out at the very last moment.
Needed to let you into a false sense of going there. Sun's actually getting out on track. Just seeing the first glimmers of the sun beginning to bring through these clouds. That really didn't make sense, did it? Alphatrix leads, Jajo second, M Short third, Toxic in fourth. Basically, the sun's appearing through the clouds and it could dry up within the next couple of laps, I would say. Connor right on the back of Campbell. Kazizel, 3-second time penalty, out on track as well. It's Alphatrix who leads, Jajo in second, M Short in third, Toxic in fourth, Campbell fifth, Connor in sixth, still on the board with him, and now we're on board with D. Daniel, right on the back of it, Neo, running down in towards turn 3. Can he try and get the move done? Not quite. Goldie RGG is the hangman, by the way.
Ah, well, that's good to see that we've got the answer right there, but yeah, it seems like Connor losing a bit more time in comparison to Campbell this time, but I see that they might actually be closing up to the pair up. Well, visually they are closing up. The rain still falling pretty heavily here, so I don't think that we will get dry running, but with about 11 laps to go, there is the possibility that there will be some dry running, but I don't think it'll be all that much.
I think it'll be the last 5 laps of the race, if I was going to pinpoint it, because I've seen this before around here in Australia. It dries up quite quick, but it doesn't really dry up to that effect. So it could be we get to see inter running, medium running, possibly towards the end of the race. Montana right on the back of Lando, 2 former race winners out on track as well. Montana, in fact, winning the second to last round. Lando winning the last round in China, and Lando in 14th under pressure from the current defending champion here of Montana, in 15th position. I was nearly having a stroke there. Kumbly in 16th position as now Montana tries to get onto the back of him, but he's not quite close enough. Further up the field, Connor, is he quite close enough to the back of Campbell? Don't think he is. Alphatrix still leads, Jajo second. They're pulling away from M Short and Toxic in third and fourth position. Connor very late onto brakes, controls the car nicely, coming through 3 and then through 4. And good job that I got that hangman right. I remember Goldie, I commentated on him in TFRL back in the day when he was part of that league. That's how far we go back.
Kazizel putting in the fastest lap here. Yeah, I think he's still just going to keep on going. He's got a lot fresher tyres than everyone else, but of course he's 21 seconds off the back of anyone, so unless a miracle comes his way, it's unlikely that he'll get any points in this Grand Prix. As Connor brushing the wall on the exit of turn number 10 there. Could have been a bit of a disaster class if he picked up damage, but luckily he's just gotten away with it. Probably dropped a bit of time to Campbell, who's not going to need to defend as hard. But I don't think Connor would probably want to attack at this point, because they are closing up to Toxic and M Short, as it'll come by getting a 3-second time penalty. I believe that might not be his first of this race, as I'm just looking at the penalties. It is his first. Somehow Lando has got 13 seconds of penalties. That must be from all the glitches that were occurring on the safety car.
Yeah, he picked up 2 5-second time penalties, I think, underneath the safety car. One for collision with name changer, one for collision with ignoring the yellow flag. Iwan has just picked up a 3-second time penalty running out of turn 12 as well. On lap 20 out of 29, 10 more laps to go. Alphatrix leads, Jia Jia second, M Short third, Toxic fourth, Campbell in fifth, Connor in 6th position, and Spag really happy, I think, that I got that right, surely, because he has now not put in another LOE hangman because of all the action, or lack of, still, out on track. It's just Asas on the back of Connor.
Yeah, just Asas closing up to Connor, greater than Connor's closing up to Campbell here, so now the tides are really beginning to turn, I think. Everyone is getting into their rhythm, and they are going to begin to pick up the pace, especially as they're forming a more of a dry line the more that they drive on this track, so they will get faster just naturally, which is nice to see. At least there's a lot of twitching through turn number 10. I do see what am I saying here? It does happen quite often, as I do find I get my words mixed up, and I actually just like to bring up a point. Was that safety car the first one we'd seen all season? Have we had one anywhere else?
I think we had one in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. Answer on the postcard, please.
Well, we'll ask. Who does all the stats? I think it's Rick. We'll ask Rick. We'll ask Rick after it's all over.
Jasaitas on the back of Connor for 6th and 7th, lap 21 out of 29. The more that we go on in this race with intermediate running, the more it is not going to drive towards the end of the race. Montana, though, is into the pit lane. I wonder if this is going to be for a dry compound of tyre, or if this is going to be for a new set of Inters. It's for mediums, I think. No, it's not. That's my eyesight. That's for a set of Inters.
Yeah, I think he's gone on to that set for just the fastest lap. I think it's Kazizel is the one that occupies it at this moment in time, and it is, so I guess he's just doing it for the fun of it, because neither of them are going to get foothold. They are going to be very close. No, I don't think Kazizel's going to be ahead of him, but he actually could get him on exit here. You can see he's very close to the rear wing, the blinking red light right in the visor of Kazizel, coming up towards turn number 3. Is he going to send it? He's just going to hang back for the time being. Nice to see a bit of a dive bomb, a bit of action. There's not too many overtakes in this race, but we'll have to wait for the time being.
Montana currently at the points as well. M Short is extending his championship lead out on track. Alphatrix, though, is gaining massively as Verstappen picks up a 3-second time penalty out on track as well. About to get onto lap 22 out of 29 here, and Alphatrix does lead from Jiao Jiao in second, and these two have just been in a class of their own out on track. They should. Will they get to the end of the race on these compounded tyres?
Yeah, I think they have around about the same lifespan as a set of medium tyres. I think they should be okay to get to the end. If we're suggesting that mediums will go about 15 laps, I think they'll be good. And in the wets, it is a little bit easier to save up the tyres. I know that a zero stop is actually possible on a set of wets.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think Verstappen's quite close on Vaporizer, not quite close enough though. Carry on.
Yeah, I was going to say that I don't think you can make zero stops on the intermediates. They've already made their pit stop, but yeah, they should be able to get to the end.
Jiao Jiao 1.2 seconds off the back of Alphatrix. It is quite stable, that gap currently. And it is Alphatrix who leads, Jiao Jiao in second, M Short, Toxic, Campbell, Connor, Jasaitas, Vaporizer, Verstappen and Neo ran off the top 10. Daniel Hardy currently filling out the points. Hardy, by the way, got caught up in a little bit of an incident earlier on in the race. Of course, he pitted in early, out on track, to with the damage. Lando as well, pitting in as well with the damage in on lap 1. Kazizel is the latest to pick up another 3-second time penalty out on track. I think that's his first, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's his second penalty out on track. But Jiao Jiao 1.1 seconds off. I think Jiao Jiao now begins to see Alphatrix as a bit of a threat in front of him, possibly. I think he's now getting on with things, Jiao Jiao. It's a second the gap. Could he win this?
He could, especially since well, if you go back to lap number 1, there could be a bit of scrutiny coming onto Alphatrix, and depending on the way of the stewards, it could go towards Jiao Jiao taking the win. But we can't count our eggs before they hatch, and we just got to go for it on circuit. In terms of the ERS, it's not as powerful in the wet, of course, without the DRS as well. 44% for Alphatrix, 98 for Jiao Jiao. So it seems like Jiao Jiao's not having to push as hard as Alphatrix is. And in these last couple of laps, if he uses some of it, he could close up quite heavily. Montana putting in the fastest lap of the race. Speaking of Montana, he's made 4 pit stops in this Grand Prix, so I don't think it's been quite the ideal run from pole position as well.
Yeah, Alphatrix leading Jiao Jiao in second, and I imagine the conditions in these cars are totally unimaginable. There we are, Mario Walker reference. Connor's on the back of Campbell. Connor on the back of Campbell for 5th and 6th position. The Renault and the Red Bull about to do battle. Of course, Renault renaming themselves and rebranding themselves, of course, as Alpine in 2021. Red Bull, well, still known as Red Bull. Yeah, doesn't really make sense, does it? As now Connor is on the back of Campbell. He's been quite close enough before. It looks to me, though, as if Toxic is coming back to Toxic is coming back to Campbell. M. Short is pulling away slightly, but he's not getting a big enough advantage over Toxic to try and break away. As M. Short is in 3rd, Toxic in 4th lap, 24 out of 29. If it was to turn dry on this lap, then I could see dry running possibly right at the end of the race, but I think we're probably much set in for Inters for the rest of this race now, as now Connor on the back of Campbell tries to get the move done. Kumbly and Lando both into the pit lane as well, and Campbell, 5th position, and Connor in 6th, and yeah, your questionable thing there. Yeah, Kumbly in for a set of softs, Lando in for a set of softs as well. Both of these guys, Kazizel's coming in as well, I think, for a set of soft compound tire as well. Are they mad going for a set of softs?
I'm so confused. There's still rain on circuit. It's not really dried up at all. It's like Toxic made a huge mistake.
Unless they're weathering these tyres up for it to turn dry right at the end of this race, and then the fastest lap will be set on the final lap.
So,
I could see that.
I don't think it's. I don't know if we'll get dry enough towards the end. There's still rain falling. So I guess a fastest lap could come out, but it's very risky for them. I guess they're just trying to put a little bit of wear into the tyres so they have that greater grip. Speaking just quickly about the guys at the top, Toxic had a big mistake through a second sector, and he's been dropped by M. Short completely, and now he's in the clutches of Campbell. You can see a 3-car fight for 4th position by the end of this.
Yeah, Toxic overheating his rear left tyre, I think, as well, just visibly from Campbell as he gets caught wide again, coming out the final corner. It's Alphatrix who leads, Jiao Jiao 2nd, M. Short in 3rd, Toxic in 4th, Campbell 5th. Verstappen is on the back of Vaporizer as well, running down in towards turn 1, all Dutch affair for 8th and 9th, all Kvyat and NSX affair as well for 8th and 9th as well. So it's going to be fascinating to see how this race is going to unfold. D. Daniel right on the back of Neo. Is he right on the back of him? Oh my god, I thought it was going to go into the back of him there. But D. Daniel stays in 11th. D. Daniel in 11th. Neo in 10th. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, to be honest. Verstappen right on the back of Vaporizer for 8th position. Alphatrix still leading. Jiao Jiao in 2nd. Jiao Jiao beginning to get on with things out in front.
And he's not even breaking a sweat. He's still, well, he is using up some of his overtake there, but he is hardly using any. I think he really wants to try and push for this one. I believe both of them on 2 warnings apiece. I looked on the race director. Alphatrix has 3, but one of them was on the first lap, so I assume that was for the contact with Montana. But yeah, both these guys, one little slip up could see them getting a penalty. Speaking of penalties, Kazizel's just picked one up there. That I believe that might be his 3rd. Yeah, 9 seconds of time penalties he's managed to attain in this Grand Prix. But we can see a decent fight for the lead come the end of the race. 4 laps to go this time by right here, and we'll have a nice scrap towards the end.
I think we're seeing the switchover period, by the way, between the dries and the inters out on track. It's still raining. It's still raining out on track, but look at the gap Kumbly and E1. 5.2 seconds. I've been monitoring that the last half a minute or so, and that gap has really not changed. It was 5.1, now it's 5.3, back to 5.2. It's around there. You're seeing the changeover period, I think. So what I said earlier on in the race about them going onto the final lap, weathering up those tyres towards the final lap to get the fastest lap of the race, I think that's going to come true. As E1 now responds, he's into the pit lane. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on to a set of softs either.
unfortunately, he's picked up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
DRS enabled! And it's still raining out on track. Goodness me, we could be in for an absolute cracker of a race, and let the action begin out on track. Hopefully no LOE hangman send us off the race. Alphatrix leading, Jab in second, M Short in third, Toxic fourth, Campbell fifth, Connor in sixth. Jasasas now responding. Look at the gap, 11.6 seconds. That gap is now coming down between Kumbli and Montana. It's still relatively the same though, coming around that section of the track they're on. Connor, though, on the back of Campbell, and all of these guys now have DRS to wear, and Alphatrix has actually completely disposed of Jiao, and Alphatrix is into the lead, in from the lead of the race. Jiao responds as well, both the front two into the pit lane from the lead of the race, and it now brings them short into the lead of the race. Is that costly for Alphatrix and Jiao? I think so.
They've got 3 laps to make this set work and catch up. Whether we see like a click of their fingers, the rain just suddenly disappears. It's still raining on circuit, but in terms of track condition, it is looking pretty much bone dry. We'll see where Alphatrix comes out. He's in 6th position, but he is way back. He's 15 seconds from M Short. I wonder if he'll catch him. I'm not too sure on this one. I don't think it might. I'm so conflicted.
15.4 seconds is the gap you've got to take in. 15.3, if that's anything to go by. Fastest laps are now being set out on track. These inters are beginning to struggle. 14.5, 14.4. Alphatrix is absolutely seething into the gap. Jasasas and Toxic are having a battle coming through turn 3 and 4. There's now Toxic on the outside line. Jasasas all around the outside, coming towards turn 5. Can he get the move done? No way can Jasasas get this done. He's now on the inside line, but now Toxic gets back through. He's into 9th position, holds on for the position for now. Here comes Connor on the back of Campbell as well. We're now getting going as Jasasas is round coming out of turn 6 and 7. As now Connor's run on the back of Campbell. Connor absolutely sailed on by Campbell. He is through and he's into 2nd position. If M Short and Connor and Campbell, if I was in that scenario now, I'd stay out. I think I'd probably win this race if I was staying out.
They've committed to it. They've got to stay out now. They had their opportunity to come into the dries last time by. They've just lost too much time now. If you're making a pit stop, which Vaporizer's doing, you're not in a good position. But Alphatrix is 9 seconds off the lead, and he's right onto the back of Hardy. In grip will be monumental.
Alphatrix is coming in. Alphatrix on the inside line, gets the move done on Hardy. He's through into 4th position, and M Short leads. Connor in 2nd, Campbell 3rd. There goes the last of the traffic for Alphatrix. Now is the time to try and get going, and in true Murray Walker style, 2 laps to go, then the action will begin, and this is the action, which it is.
Yeah, I believe Combly's lost a bit of his front wing there, so they are struggling with the track. It is not completely dry, but the gap is
rain stopped.
Closing. Yeah, I know the rain has stopped, and Alphatrix closing.
Oh my god!
So much. He's got 1 lap to do this. This is close.
This is like the hare and the tortoise, quite literally. Alphatrix now trying to get onto the back of Campbell. There goes 1. He's now on the back of Connor. Can he get disposal of him towards turn 13? He's got to try and get this move done. If knowing Connor, though, he'll try and slow him up. But he actually gets out of the way. And Alphatrix is now clear through. M Short now is coming in as Connor has spun. And he loses right side end plate. Coming out the final corner, has he got a puncture? Rear right puncture for Connor. He has got a puncture. And now surely M Short is going to commit to the end of this race. He's got no chance to win it, I don't think. But M Short now, through the final couple of corners, if this was the final lap of the race, my goodness me, we'd be in for an absolute treat. We could be in for a photo finish, but no, Alphatrix is right on the back of M Short. Onto the final lap we go, and Alphatrix would have won it just there if it was the final lap. But this is the final lap of the race, and it's now a set fight between Alphatrix and Jiao. Jiao on the back of M Short, disposes of him. Now has got to catch back up to the back of Alphatrix. He hasn't got any DRS though in that car further down the field. D Daniel took it into the slipstream. Connor really dropping. He is going to the end on those compound tyres. Toxic, Verstappen, Hardy, 3 wide down in towards turn 3, and as Verstappen got round both of them, Verstappen is through and he's into 5th. Absolutely sensational stuff. Neo and D Daniel, we can hardly keep up with this action. D Daniel, Neo, on the outside line goes Neo. Can he get the move done? Yes he can. Brilliant stuff by the German. He's into 8th. Half a lap to go.
T. Daniel still trying to come back
M.
at
Short's
him.
got a
M.
puncture!
Short's got a puncture! M. Short with a puncture on the final lap of the Grand Prix. That's dropped him completely off the podium. And now Verstappen could be with a chance of taking it. Here comes Verstappen around the outside, coming like out of the race in the pit lane. What a race this has turned into. As now, I can't even comprehend what's going on. M. Short has lost it all on the final lap of the Grand Prix. I think any battle that Zhao Zhao would have had is obsolete at this point because Alphatrix going to win.
What we can comprehend though is Alphatrix coming around the final corner. The softs in the end has paid off. No matter how criticism I was of this, Alphatrix wins from Zhao Zhao in second. Verstappen's going to finish in third. Campbell's dropping down the field. He's got a puncture, I think, as well. No, he hasn't, in fact. He's managed to get going. Verstappen coming across the line to finish in third. What an end to the race. Toxic in fourth. Connor's actually retired out on track. Neo fifth. Daniel in sixth. They jump up. Vaporizer nearly nabbing Campbell to the line, but he had a 5-second penalty anyways. Name changes in 8th position. Hardy 10th. Jasasas 11th, Lando in 12th, M. Short, puncture, and his E1's into the back of him, and Montana's crashed as well. Goodness me, Montana, right side end plate damage, E1 had spun out the final corner, Lando's dropping down the field, M. Short in the end gets a point, and still outscores Montana. How? Lando 13th, Montana 14th, E1 and 15th, right side end plate damage on that car, and he had a 5-second penalty, and Kazizel around the final corner to end off one of the craziest endings to a race I think I've ever seen. Alphatrix has won, Zhao Zhao in second, Kazizel across the line. He set the fastest lap, I think, there. Kazizel as well. It turned dry right at the point of where it should have done, and Alphatrix has won. Zhao Zhao in second, driver of the day, awarded by the in-game fans for a man who was down at the back underneath the safety car. Hardy has got driver of the day awarded by the in-game fans.
Yeah, well, what a race we've just witnessed, and it is a perfect race to honour the tragic loss of Murray Walker dying. Well, we had the news broken to us around about 2 hours ago now, so he lives on in our memory, and he is the voice of Formula One, undoubtedly. Alphatrix will be celebrating this one. He's finally back on top, and we could see the form that he had in the last season where he's fighting with Montana every race, and of course he could be a late challenger in this championship.
Oh, Alphatrix has won. Zhao Zhao in second, Verstappen in third, Neo fourth, Daniel in fifth, Campbell in sixth, Toxic 7th, Name Changer, 18th up to 8th. Good performance from him, the Finn, in 8th. Vaporizer in 9th, Hardy rounding off the top 10. Jasasas in 11th, M. Short in 12th, Lando 13th, Montana in the end in 14th, not picking up any points. Ewan in 15th, Kazizel in 16th, picks up the fastest lap with the 121.7. Connor, Kuhnblai, Kuki Games and Schiaparelli. Connor and Kuhnblai did finish in 17th and 18th, albeit Connor crashed, Kuhnblai I think crashed as well. Kuki Games in 19th and Schiaparelli DNFing at the race in 20th position. Alphatrix has won from Zhao Zhao in second, Verstappen in third. Is this the start of Alphatrix trying to reclaim back his crown from Montana?
I think so. I think he's finally picked up that rhythm. He's got the momentum, and he's finally kind of solidified himself. He's a titan in League of Europe history, and is one of the most accomplished drivers. Today's just proven he's not weak at all. He's got armor. You could call him the armor titan. I hope someone does get that reference, but brilliant performance from him today.
Yeah, really good win from Alphatrix out on track, and in a race that really didn't live up to expectations. We had a bit of a safety car, we had a bit of Eloise Hangman. In the end, we were treated to probably the craziest 2 laps of the season so far to end off the race. And what a fitting tribute that was for the late and very great Murray Walker, who sadly passed away at the age of 97. Of course, I'm sure all of our thoughts here in Eloise are with his family and friends at what I'm sure is a really, really sad time for the whole family and for the whole Formula One community as well. Certainly one of my idols. I know Dan, probably certainly one of your idols as well. But I'll come to you for your final thoughts. Who was your driver of the day?
My driver of the day? It's got to be Alphatrix, hasn't it? That was just the perfect race from him. Making that strategy called a bold call that would have lost him the race entirely if he stayed out. He decided to commit onto the softs. The rain was never going to last, and he's a deserving driver of the day in an instant LOE Classic.
Oh, goodness me. And if you thought that was good, we've got more action to come. Division 2 and Division 5 going to be with you in about 10 minutes' time. We're not going to have any interviews tonight because of the time currently. If we did finish a little bit earlier, then we would have. But there we are. That's just the nature of sim racing right at the end of the day. And I think my driver of the day, certainly I've got to agree with you. I definitely think Alpha Trix gets my driver of the day. Really good performance as well from Name Changer. Further down the field, we hardly mentioned him during the race, but performances like that just go under the radar. He could be coming of age now in League of Europe. And whether these drivers will grow or fade remains to be seen as we go to France next week for round 8 of the championship. And after that, Singapore. Anyways, France next week's better. We'll just focus on that, I think. But for myself and from Daniel Field, please take care of yourselves in this crazy world that we all still live in. For myself and Dan, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.